Alexander, the making of a god. As soon as I saw the title on the Netflix scrolling I was doing a few weeks back, I was intrigued. In my childhood days, I had heard a lot about Alexander, the great king who conquered the world. He is considered to be one of the most courageous, one of the most fierce, and one of the most clever tacticians who has conquered vast expanses of Persia, Egypt, and belongs to the glorified city of Macedonia. When I saw the series, I could only imagine what Alexander's life must have been. He came from a tiny city from all perspectives at that point of time and had the ambition to conquer the world despite many constraints. During the series, I learned different tactics, different strategies that he used, and that made me wonder, can such tactics or strategies be replicated by anyone in today's day and age? What differentiated Alexander from any one of us? Or what differentiates Alexander, the great king, to Anshuman Mishra, a Turning Point Toastmasters member? I know all of us at Turning Point Toastmasters are capable of being as courageous or as fierce as Alexander the great king. But what are the traits, if any, I or we can learn from him and, and incorporate it in our daily lives? So, first of all, what I learned is that Alexander had that edge, had that courage, which we usually do not display in our daily lives. For example, when Alexander was trying to conquer Persia, which was almost the size of China and Russia combined at that point of time, he did not fear going into the battle even once. He had it all planned out. He had thoroughly studied what will be the battle strategies, what will be the war strategies, and how can he conquer, going into different formations, looking at different tactics to ensure that he puts that shield of mystery and permeates any war formations that can come his way. Planning in advance gave him that additional edge or that necessary courage to go there fiercely and be the best warrior possible. Second, he did not just rely on the physical strength of his battalion or himself, he also looked at different counter strategies, the human aspects of it. For example, he manipulated the king of Russia by by taking his family into his own shield and using them as manipulative tactic to ensure that the king's mind is always concerned about the king's family, which was residing with Alexander. So he was conquering through physical and conquering through the mind itself. When I thought about it, that can I incorporate these elements into my own personal life? It made me think that any major personality has its pros and one has to live with the cons too. For Alexander, being the great king he was, his courage, his valor, his temperament, and his ability to conquer is definitely something I felt I can incorporate in my daily life by taking that extra risk when there is no available and ensuring that I go one step ahead when I am restricted by it. On the other hand, conquering or waging the war through manipulative tactics is something which may not be sustainable. That's something I will not want to learn from Alexander and maybe look at what, as a leader, as a Turning Point Toastmaster leader, I can bring through my influence, I can bring through my help, I can bring through my resourcefulness and ensure that I am being of help to anyone and everyone. That conquering and winning might be a short term strategy, but being helpful and resourceful can be helpful for the long run. So, definitely, when I see Alexander, I'm definitely very inspired to have that courage to be warrior like, to be king like, and ensure that I'm leading from the front in wherever I have to perform that duty. At the same time, I have to be mindful that I'm not as blind as Alexander, with not having the humility to understand that winning can have a cost associated with it, and just going out there blindly with the cause of winning, but ensuring that the strategy solves for the long run, where one is being resourceful and is being helpful for everyone involved in under the influence of leadership. I encourage you to watch the series. At the same time, I hope you also had a few learnings from Alexander the Great. Great. Over to you, Toastmaster Utkarsh.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Anshuman, for such a riveting